it's not recording right now. Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Oh,
I shrunk the tracks too much.
I get it. I get it now.
There is meter.
Sometimes I have track shrinkage.
I was in the pool. I'm gonna tell you what. That's not happening now. It's too hot.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
unless you have like a cold plunge pool, you don't have to worry about that.
Dude, my pool is like pea water.
Which is sterile.
Not because people pee in it.
Oh.
I should probably specify that.
Okay.
It's just
Well,
it's like when you so I grew up.
Mr. Somebody Gave Me Fire was just at the door.
Yeah,
So
he would. No, he doesn't do that I know of. Because he would announce it if he did. He has no shame.
I'm gonna ask him.
He probably does.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Little Uncle Ben on the side gonna ask him.
So no, that pool is only 5 feet deep at the deep end.
Okay.
And so it doesn't, I have to put one of those sprinklers in it to cool the water off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Because this time of year is when it gets to the point where it's like, I don't even want to swim in this, too hot.
Yeah.
I mean, first world problems, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sitting here whining about having a swimming pool, but still.
I gotta go take care of the pool.
But
Yeah.
still.
Well, that's like me with the boat.
Yeah.
Oh, the stupid bearing. I had to get up early.
Yeah.
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 Then my tire guy calls me. Hey.
Your boat tire guy?
Yeah.
How does
well, he's my regular tire guy.
Oh,
Tyson.
okay.
But he's like, hey, the date on these tires. And I was like, I think we're going to have to roll the dice.
Dude,
He's
tire guys and their dates on the tires, man. I tell you what.
Well, and to his credit, I did say, look over anything that could fail. Because I don't
Okay.
want a summer. Because I don't want the kids to learn any more colorful language.
Right.
You know? Because right now we're conjugating sentences, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get with what they know from
Yeah.
me, and that's probably not good. But
Yeah.
hey, we hadn't had a blowout or something.
Of a tire or
yeah,
you?
yeah, no tire. Well,
Oh.
me, yeah, but a tire. You know, coming in
Yeah.
from the lake, it's one thing going out. It's another thing when you're coming in, and it's like all the fun has been had. We have gotten all the blood there is out of this turnip.
Oh,
we
man.
need to go home. That's what it was last night.
You want that experience. You should grow up flying RC airplanes with your dad. Back in the day when you had barely enough money to keep one or two in the air.
Yeah, no.
And
No.
you're coming back from the field after a crash, and all you got in the back of the airplane or back of the truck is a bunch of balsa splinters and hopefully some engine and radio that you can use after you repair or rebuild. It's pretty awesome.
No. Well. All right. Well, welcome back to episode or part 3 of the approval paradox. I've been using your laptop with the trackpad, and now I go to use my iPad that has no trackpad, just a keyboard. And
That was entertaining.
do you like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I wonder if that would constitute interference learning. I think maybe that would be. I can't remember all my definitions of the different learning issues.
Well, there are some learning issues, but that leads me to
not disabilities, but like where you have like the learning. I can't remember what they title it. It's like stuff they taught us when we were becoming flight instructors back in the day.
Well,
so, yeah.
my word of the day. I told you the other day, though, so it's not brand new. You've heard it.
Yeah.
Pistified.
Yes, I like that word. It's a good word.
It is, as it sounds, the combination between being pissed and mystified. And as dads, you're most commonly going to run into this, okay? Depending on how old your daughter is, it could happen there. But it is definitely going to happen with your boys, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it could happen at any age, and it's recurring at different levels. And it most notably has to do with when they are X age, but minus like X and a half.
You haven't defined it yet.
It's when you're very, very pissed
Yes.
and mystified at the same time.
Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
Pistified.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it's where you start to get the look, you know, that. And it's not even that you're trying to self-censor, it's that you're trying to process because you're mystified. But pissed that whatever happened, but you're still trying to figure out how it happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Like some of the memes of car accidents that are posted, and it's like, how did the car get into that position?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
on top of a pole?
And
Intact?
now, and what Dina doesn't, God love her, okay? I crossed the threshold of I can't keep up anymore
Yeah.
a long time ago. She's still in the game, okay? Because she'll go like, what the, and she's like, you know, oh, they're either one of the kids, all right? And me, I'm like, I mean, whatever, man, you know? It just, yeah.
It just isn't.
Yeah,
It
you
just
know,
isn't.
well, look at that. I don't know. You know, and you sound
Yeah.
a little bit like you're losing it, but you
Yeah.
are. It
You
is
are
a degree
losing
of
it.
detachment.
Yeah.
But God bless her. She's still
Attachment for survival.
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I'm going to have to explain something to her, I snap back into engagement and being pistified.
Right.
Because I've got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It's a
Okay.
good word.
It is. It's tremendous.
It's a good word.
I'm not taking credit for that word. I heard that word.
Yeah.
On the interwebs and just wanted to use it because it just conveys so much.
It does.
So, all right. So,
Yeah.
part 3, approval paradox. Approval inside of a marriage is a slow cooker recipe for disaster.
So, approval as in unhealthily seeking approval in this way
yes,
that we're talking
assume
about.
that anytime that we say approval,
We're talking about it in this light.
in the negative, overdone,
Yeah.
isolated, selfish, toxic because it's the only thing being pursued.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In type of relationship. So approval inside of a marriage is the isolation of approval, the soul seeking of approval. Inside of a marriage is a slow cooker recipe for disaster. You know, I'm a dad, you're a dad. I don't know how much cooking you do, but every
Not as much as you.
well, I do a lot of the weekend
Probably about
dinners.
10% of what you do.
So I do because I like to grill. But that's what takes a little more time, so you can do that outside, you know, whatnot. Obviously, you grill outside.
That's one of the things I love about Texas is that the term grill,
yeah,
barbecue,
yeah,
smoke,
Yeah.
these are all specific terms
yeah,
with their own specific definitions.
yeah.
Where I grew up, barbecue and grilling, they didn't even know what smoking was,
Right.
other than
well,
that kind.
we do that here too.
And
We don't.
And in Oregon, especially,
Well, yeah, they
that
do.
kind.
Yeah.
But like,
The trade winds, we know they do. Yeah.
but like I moved here and I realized pretty quickly,
No, it's very different.
grilling,
Yeah.
barbecue,
Yeah.
smoking,
Yeah.
different.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So I grill. Some
Yeah.
people go, "Oh, so do you do a lot of brisket?" No.
You
No.
don't grill
And
brisket.
I appreciate the fact that they think that I'm well adept at smoking brisket. That's saved
Yeah.
for other people who have more patience
Yeah.
and a better functioning liver than I do. Because according to the Texas barbecue chat rooms, you cannot barbecue or smoke a brisket for 21 hours unless you're drinking a beer an hour. And I can't do that.
Yeah. That just sounds horrendous. Not the brisket. The
these
brisket
guys-
sounds amazing.
Listen,
My mouth is watering.
I don't
But
know
like,
that any of those guys will see this on the North Texas
But-
Barbecue Addicts page.
I don't know how you do.
These guys are drinking hard liquor at 5:30 in the morning because they've been up all night. And
That's
they're like,
unreal.
yeah. They're like, I'm going to make some
I don't
tacos
even
on my griddle. And like you have bourbon and brisket, egg and brisket tacos. You're like,
I don't even understand how that's fun.
Yeah.
The brisket part sounds fun. Well, not the waiting 21 hours for the brisket. But the
It does.
eating.
And it's a pretty big old boy if it's taking that long. 12 to 15 should be your upper end.
Is it 220? Is that what you cook?
207, I think, is your magic internal temperature that you pull a brisket at. Maybe it's 203. Someone will correct me.
Okay.
203, 207, 203. It doesn't really. I
Again,
would say it doesn't
we are
matter.
witnessing-
and then someone will go, "Oh yes, it does matter."
We are witnessing the precision of the commitment to the Texan and his brisket.
that I don't make.
I just want to say, but you are committed to it because you don't even do it because it's like
Out of respect.
I've drawn the boundary that I'm not even going to like attempt this thing because I
No,
can't
you're
do
done
it
right.
properly.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
It's
That's
it
out of
really
my
is.
league,
It
boys and
really
girls.
is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so in a slow cooker, in a crock pot, not a lot happens visually for a while.
Right.
And then on the magic starts to happen in that back 2/3, that 3/4 of the way done, and then all of a sudden it's like, I mean, it really starts to transform. Problem is, when you've been working for approval, and it starts to the unhealthiness and that isolated, that because all other things are nutrient deficient in your relationship, and you've only been focusing on the approval thing. You got this tunnel vision. You're emaciated.
Yeah.
Everything's going on. All right. Things start coming unraveled quickly, and you sense that things are brittle and fragile and absolutely don't convey the health, because again, as long as you've got approval, that means health.
Right.
Okay. But no, that's actually not what's happening. And then you wind up working harder for approval, and you're trying to stack on the weight of earning approval to a structure that cannot hold any more weight of approval seeking. It
Right.
just can't. So at that time, you have to start working on, one, not seeking approval exclusively, okay? But you have to start building a foundation that structurally is damaged because you've been deteriorating it
Right.
with your,
Yeah. It's almost like you have to go below the foundation.
You do. It's a subgrade repair. Okay, you have to get below it, and you're doing soil stabilization and whatever it is that you need to
You're
do.
starting at less than zero at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
And a lot of marriages don't survive that,
no,
I think.
no,
I
they
think
don't,
that's- I
because
think
it's like,
that's-
well, we grew apart. Okay, did you grow apart, or did you cease to continue growing together?
Right. Well,
You know.
I mean, it could be argued that you did grow apart, and that's why you start at zero or less than zero.
Yeah,
But then at that point, it's like, I mean, we've talked about this before on other topics, but there are things that are just intrinsically good for you.
right.
And I really do believe the way that God instituted marriage, where it's supposed to be one person with one person together for the time that they're on, that they're alive, committed, that he did that because it is good for us to go, okay, even if I have to go below grade and start at less than zero, I'm committed to this, and we're going to try to, we're going to work this thing.
And the other person has
And
to
if
let you do that work
both
too. Yeah.
both people are in on that commitment. I think that has intrinsic good.
Yes, that's the worse in for better or worse.
Right.
Okay.
But you have drifted apart. Now it's
Well,
time
sure.
to start driving back together.
Yeah.
Right? Oh.
So, anyway, so now this will work during the get to know you phase. The let's hang out, let's have a good time. You know,
Right.
you and I, we got to know each other in a group, and we kind of, just chit chatted about this, that, and the other thing. But then we got past the get to know you phase.
Right.
And it's the all right, we're living life together.
Yeah.
We're talking about parenting struggles, marriage struggles, job this, career that, and it's,
Yeah.
though we have done very, very dissimilar things, the takeaways and positions that we found ourselves in are phenomenally similar.
Right.
Yeah.
Personality is very similar, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
I'm too happy.
You said it.
We talked about the irony of that in an earlier episode. Go look it up. Anyways.
And I'm the happy one. Okay. But so while it'll work when you're getting to know one another, and it's a good thing, because you need to know some of these core elements and go, oh yes, this person is someone who I'm willing to make a commitment to.
Right.
You're not humankind is not going to more than likely commit to a person that they do not approve of.
Yeah.
On the front end, so you have to have some.
That's
of that.
true.
So
Yeah.
approval is not, again, it's not bad. It's
Right.
the worship of approval, if you will.
That's good. Yeah, it is.
Good Lord, Jimmy, I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, that's to use a old school Bible term. It's just idolatry.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
is.
like that we read the Old
Lest
Testament.
anyone think that we were overly religious and pious. We are clearly not, but
Yeah, it's like we read the Old Testament and you're like, well, I don't understand what the Israeli
Israelites?
Israelites. Yeah, there we go. What their problem? I don't understand what their problem is. Why are they always trying to like worship calves and stuff?
Right.
It's
Moses gone 40 days.
It doesn't sound attractive to us to like go like kneel before a statue.
No, not at all.
But it sure does sound attractive to worship approval.
Oh,
Right.
listen.
It's the same thing.
I had my own pew in the temple of approval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But anyway, it'll the ailments, the weaknesses in your structure they'll start to show themselves
Right.
when the real life aspects start to show up. When you have some job change stuff, or some kid stuff, or parents' health stuff, or kids' health stuff, or your own health stuff, or this or that, or needing to make a change where you're living, churches, these real life things, and those are big core elements. But even in small stuff like budgeting, okay, what type of house should we buy? Vacation stuff, should we not?
Oh my gosh, vacation stuff would set us off.
So
that's
So when those real life aspects show up, if you're clinging to approval and you're worshiping approval, every time that shows up, you are just digging in further and further and undermining that solid foundation that you could have more and more. You're preventing it and damaging it at the same time. So, and we mentioned this first or second episode, but that living for approval exclusively builds resentment. In the approval seeker, because it's when I don't get the approval fix that I need, or you don't approve of me to the degree that I think that you should, or you don't show it outwardly, or whatever the metrics are, whatever hoops the approver has to jump through.
I would say, especially if you've made some changes.
Yeah.
That you perceive as the other person says, hey, if you could do these things, that would be better. And they're just expressing to you, and in a relationship, they're just saying, hey, let's improve this relationship. Here's some things some areas where you fall short of reasonable expectations in a give and a take in a good relationship. For me, I took that and internalized that. And then when I started making changes and saw consistency in those changes by the grace of God, even by the grace, even through the power of the Spirit, empowering me to do those changes, I would take those things and throw them back in her face and be like, look at all these things I've done, and you're still treating me this way. You still don't approve of me. I am like, look at me. I'm the man. Look at all the things I've done for you.
Yeah. I'm telling you what a big loser I was. Why won't you just love me because I was a loser and I've admitted to it now? And now I don't want to be.
Or even if you, but see, my point is like, even when you've made concrete changes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
For the wrong reasons.
Well, to get approval.
Correct.
Yeah.
That just adds to the problem, because now it's just.
That was where Bill really got me, because I'm sitting there and I'm just letting him have it. And I want you to do. I'm doing this and and he's like, "Come here." You ever seen that meme? Like, "Hey, come here," and that looks like they slap you. The point of view meme. That was kind of what it was like, except there was a point of view, and he was in the front seat of my truck. And
because if it's the right thing done for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
If it's the right thing
come
feeding,
here, boy.
If it's like the objectively right, but it's feeding the wrong thing inside of you.
Yeah, he said you're doing all that, and now you're still circling back for approval. Shut up, Bill. Why are you ruining it? Just approve of me, Bill. So, anyway, yes, very good life advice that I did receive from him. That was good.
It is good life advice.
So, now, I had received it from other people, from other person, other than Bill. I'm married to that person. So.
I was going to say, I feel like this is a strangely specific.
But I didn't want to hear it from her, because I didn't want her direction. I wanted her approval. Right. Thank you very much.
Well, and then at that point, you're taking the direction as disapproval.
Listen, Jimmy, be careful. Okay, it's
It takes one to know one, man.
Oh my.
Oh.
All right. So living for approval cultivates a false sense of security for both partners. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm like, yeah, we're doing great. Don't look over there. We're doing great. And, you know.
Right, because there's a ceasefire.
Yeah.
It's a ceasefire.
Because she's tracking along.
You've met the terms
Yeah.
of a ceasefire.
Yeah.
But the war is still ongoing.
Yeah. And now,
So,
and poor Dina doesn't even know because I'm like, oh,
Right.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Have
I was
you
like,
seen
well,
that?
you said it was fine.
Have
well,
you
I
ever
didn't mean it.
have you ever seen that Mr. Bean? Do you remember Mr. Bean?
Oh, gosh.
There's a Mr. Bean episode that's actually a really good impression.
You're like,
Wow,
oh,
that was
this-
impressive.
Yes.
Where he's like fighting with everyone around him, but none of them know that he's fighting with them.
No.
Like he's like having fights. I think there's like 3 or 4 people, and all I remember is like he's parking his car, and like this person's parking their car. They do something unintentionally, but he turns it into like he's gonna get revenge. Like I remember this episode vaguely, but it just made an impression because it was like that. He's like, this dude is like fighting with everyone around him, thinking everything is a war around him, and nobody around him knows what's going on. They're just like, I don't know what your problem's like.
That's such an underrated show, and apparently I didn't look it up to see if it was true. So fact checkers chime in, but there was a shockingly low number of episodes.
Really?
It
I didn't
seems
know
like
that.
there
Okay.
was dozens
Yeah.
upon dozens. I want to tell you, it's
Like it was
in
like
the teens.
One season or something like
Yeah.
that. Okay.
And it's
Interesting.
but it's I mean it's multi-generational now.
Yeah.
I remember my grandpa showed me some of that stuff.
Yeah. It's good comedy because
It tied in with the old Pink Panther
Yeah.
vibe, and that
Yeah.
was like just his. He just thought that was the greatest stuff.
Yeah.
That was pure
Yeah.
humor, All right. So living for approval
I got you off track again.
is a cycle, can cause a cycle. It's the typo.
Yeah.
That can be very hard to break and can lead you away from who you were supposed to be. Well, all right. So I'm 18 years into marriage with Dina, and I don't know where because it was incremental, where I started to pull off from the growing as a person to, all right, I gotta,
Right.
I'm just trying to stay afloat, and then all right, but you have to approve me so I can stay afloat, and then
Right.
just kind of the vicious. All I'm doing is treading water.
Yeah.
At this point.
And meanwhile, she's spending like things that she does, her energies that she doesn't have to spend really to try to keep
Yeah.
this.
She's operating from a position where she thinks, yes, we are growing together.
Right. This is going to get better.
Right.
We're getting better.
And I'm holding on to all of the weights that are keeping me from actually swimming.
Right.
Just treading water. If I would
Yeah.
let go of that approval, I could actually swim. She thinks, I'm helping him stay afloat. We're in this
Yeah.
together.
But that's a really good analogy. Let go.
I just came out with that on the fly.
letting go of the weights though.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to swim
Yeah.
and she's holding you up.
Yeah.
And then and then you're like,
Because it's the marriage. She's not
I'm going to
enabling
let go
me.
of these weights.
Right.
At the same time, to get healthy, I need to let go of your help.
Yeah.
I'm going to start drowning.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to be okay with that,
Yeah.
which just generates a whole nother set of issues.
It's
like,
it's where
yeah.
I don't want to try to boil the concept of marriage down and over simplify it by any stretch of the imagination, but for it to work, you have to believe the other person's commitment to you.
Yeah.
And the other person's commitment has to be real.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to, that two-way thing has to be there.
Yeah.
So you can't believe that it applies only for them. Like I'm committed to them, but they're not committed to me. Okay. I know that they're a good person, but but I'm not. You have to believe with it when that person says that they are whatever, that you have to believe them, that when they make their commitments, that their vows, if you will, you have to believe them.
Yeah.
And you can't conditionally believe them or apply your conditions to them. but it has to be reciprocal.
Yeah.
So it just absolutely has to be. And when you're only living for approval, when I hear Dina say, what about this with you, or how you feel with this or whatnot, or you'd tell me, how you feel. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Just give me that thumbs up.
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
Right.
And
man, I've had conversations like that. Like, what do you want from me? Those like, what do I have to do to?
Verbatim.
Yeah.
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 So anyway, but you also, if you're stuck in this, trying to have a, just a successful high school relationship, you're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be bigger than that. Yeah. It's not Friday night and fun times. It's not.
And it's
so.
I mean, that's another rabbit trail of like what does a quality marriage look like and feel like and all that. But I think
that's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other, seriously. And there are great podcasts out there that are dedicated to that.
Yes.
But I just saw an example on Sunday of one of the great families of our church, the patriarch and the matriarch of that family, just came back from vacation.
A well overdue,
for sure,
vacation,
and
so happy,
and
that they went.
There was a gift that he purchased for her on that vacation.
Okay.
And she's talking about this thing, and I'm being very general on purpose.
Yeah.
But and I see they've been married.
But we know who you are.
They've been married 30 years, and I see this this sparkle in her eyes, the love of, and then him and the way that they love each other, and it's like there is so much more than just the high school. Oh, he's so cute. Blah, blah, blah. It's like there is this 30 years of battling through to get to this level of quality of a relationship that is like, I told my wife, I was like, that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Like we're on that path now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we weren't before.
Yeah.
We are now.
Yeah. No, I'm letting go of everything I can.
It's
going to swimming as hard as I can.
Right. It's going to take work to get there, but it's worth it. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
So absolutely. All right, that's going to wrap it up for part 3. We'll finish this thing off with part 4 of the approval paradox next time on The Regular Dad.